Good evening, our dear viewers, and welcome to your nightly news, where the profound meets the poetic. I am Gerald Remmy, your guest anchor here on NDC TV. Today, we dissect the nexus of breaking stories with the precision of a skilled surgeon. This is not just a bulletin, it's a riveting saga where headlines are chapters, and we will soar through the stratosphere of such with the precision of a comet's trajectory. Strap in for an exciting journey into the latest news, where we navigate the crescendo of headlines that echo through the corridors of our great big country, Uganda, and beyond. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. Report points to parents as primary agents and culprits of corruption in schools. MPs express their worry over ongoing corruption issues at Mulago Hospital. Well, good evening and welcome to the news in detail. Transparency International has cited corruption as sinking the education sector in Uganda. The chairperson, Board of Governors, Transparency International, John Mary Odoi, said government's misappropriation of funds tempts teachers, parents, and government officials to participate in corruption. Even if the UPE was initially supposed to be free, many parents, to ensure that their children attain better grades, will use illegal and corrupt means to ensure their children get the best grades and admissions into schools. Coming up next, we are taking our news to the streets where your voices matter. Our reporter, Arnold Opio, is on ground in the streets of Gulu City. Take a look.
All right, thank you so much, Gerald. Although free primary education in Uganda was introduced to promote quality education, corruption is greatly affecting the program. Come with me and let us see your views about this on the street.
Village schools that should be free of charge because parents are just struggling. Sometimes you plant their crops and what? The crops doesn't grow, the crops dies. These are my thank you. In order to stop these practices,
yes,
schools and government, they should sit together and make an agreement. If the teachers in each school are doing this, they should be under arrest because they are breaking the laws. I have not discussed these issues with my classmates, but I will discuss them this year.
And that wraps up our on-ground coverage. Reporting live in Gulu, I am Arnold Opio.
The House Committee on Health has tasked the management of Mulago Hospital to explain allegations of continued corruption, extortion, and fraudulent dealings at the facility. The management of the hospital, led by Director Rosemary Byanyima, appeared before the committee chaired by Dr. Charles Ayume of renovation works, the status of the equipment, budget of the facility, and to explain the continued exploitation of Ugandans seeking treatment at the facility, citing several cases of extortion and bribery. Now, let's take a closer look at this topic with our talented reporter on the scene, Ronald Ogenrot.
Good evening, Remy, and thank you. Reporting live from the heart of Mulago Hospital, where we're investigating a pressing issue affecting our community, corruption in the healthcare sector. Here, we uncover first-hand accounts and shed lights on the key challenges affecting both the patients and the staff. Stay with us as we navigate through the complexities of this crucial story.
There are a lot of under-table payments, bribes, fraud and extortions at the facility, and one of them is private facilities which illegally carry out tests and access services from the hospital. They bring samples at the facility, samples are ran, and the results are sent to private facilities where money is paid. There is need to match every person with the services they access.
And of course, the hospital management did explain that they're coming up with a system to monitor access to services in the hospital, including looking at tests done and tackling other vices, some of which blamed on impersonators.
We also talked to a 13-year-old Annette, a pseudonym because she preferred her identity not to be disclosed. Annette, who is the caretaker of her 78-year-old grandmother, highlights the single issue of medical workers taking long to administer her grandmother's medicine every morning and their rude demeanor every time she reminds them. As a young person, Annette thinks it would be good if the health workers reported on time for duty and treated their patients with love and compassion.
And that's all for today. We'll keep digging and keep you informed. My name is Ronald Ogendro, reporting for NDC TV. Back to you, Remy, at the Political Command Center.
Thank you so much, Ronald. The committee also cast doubt on the efficiency of Rocco, the construction company that has been contracted to complete the renovation works at Mulago, since they are engaged in construction of several other buildings in the country and yet still not doing well. Mulago administrators, however, responded that they are not in charge of procurement, which they said is done by the Ministry of Health. And now, as we dive into our news night opinion polls, we are getting to the spotlight, a critical issue, corruption in the health sector. We want to hear your views. Stay tuned, and we will be back with the results after this short break. Good evening and welcome back to the opinion polls. Our night's question was, in your view, how can the government improve transparency and accountability within the health sector to combat corruption? That actually said, checking academic documents after every year. There are quack doctors and nurses working and getting paid, and again there are ghost medical personnel who are being paid, and checking of the qualifications will help combat such issues. Mao says by promoting citizen engagement through community-based monitoring and feedback mechanisms that can empower locals to report corruption. Edward DPO says implementing of regular audits, public disclosure of health expenditures, whistleblower protection, and utilizing technology for real-time data reporting. Additionally, fostering a culture of openness and involving citizens in decision-making processes, especially on policies. And there you have it. As we bid adieu to this riveting chapter of information, I am Mwaka Remmy, your navigator through the constellations of breaking stories. But fear not, this is not a final chapter. It's a comma in the prose of knowledge. Always remember, information is not just power. It's the currency of understanding. So, stay curious and stay enlightened. The headlines may change, but the quest for truth remains constant. So, until our narratives collide again, Mwaka Remmy remains the name. Have yourself a good night.